The story of the McKenna sisters proves how easily evil can hide behind a facade of respectability, and how the most trusted members of a community can sometimes harbor the darkest secrets. In the winter of 1881, a chilling discovery in the boom town of Leadville, Colorado, exposed a dark secret that had been hiding in plain sight. Deep beneath the McKenna sisters' saloon, investigators found something that would haunt the mining camps of the Rocky Mountains. For decades, 23 sets of women's clothing, each meticulously folded and stored like inventory. Each bundle contained a handwritten note detailing a name, age, physical description, and most disturbingly, a price. The items themselves told silent stories: a blue calico dress that still smelled of lavender, worn leather boots carefully repaired, and a silver locket with a photograph of an elderly woman. Not a single one of these women had been seen in Leadville for months, yet their belongings remained, catalogued with the cold precision of a business ledger. The sisters, Catherine and Margaret McKenna, had vanished 3 days before the raid, leaving behind only these silent testimonies to a monstrous crime. A boomtown built on silver and sin. Leadville in 1881 was a chaotic, violent city drunk on silver and gold. Perched at over 10,000 feet in the heart of the Rockies, the town had exploded from a few hundred residents to nearly 30,000 in just 3 years, making it one of the most chaotic boomtowns in American history. Amidst this frenzy of prospectors and fortune seekers, 2 sisters from Boston, Catherine and Margaret McKenna, stood out. They arrived in 1879 with little more than their life, savings sewn into their dresses and a determination to establish themselves. They soon opened a saloon on the bustling Harrison Avenue, which quickly became a pillar of the community. Catherine, the elder sister at 31, was a master of conversation. She had a striking appearance with fiery auburn hair and green eyes that seemed to hold both warmth and calculation. She effortlessly charmed patrons, making each one feel like the most interesting person in the room. Her remarkable memory allowed her to recall personal details, a customer's children, a sick relative, creating a sense of personal connection that went far beyond the usual relationship between a saloon keeper and her customers. Unbeknownst to them, every word was being carefully catalogued for potential future use. Margaret, 28 and quieter than her sister, possessed an almost maternal quality that put people at ease. She was the practical heart of the operation, managing the financial aspects and keeping meticulous records. It was she who had a keen eye for identifying the most vulnerable people, those who were isolated, desperate, and wouldn't be missed if they disappeared. The McKenna sisters' saloon was more than a business. It was a front for a sinister operation. The sisters presented themselves as pillars of the community, even earning praise from local church leaders and the town newspaper for their civilizing influence. They claimed to offer temporary lodging and assistance to young women seeking respectable employment. But this reputation was a carefully constructed facade for a sinister operation. They were traffickers, preying on desperate women who had traveled west for a new start, luring them with false promises of new lives. The first clue came in a water-stained and travel-worn letter to the town marshal, William Dugan. The letter was from Emma Kowalski, a young woman who had escaped a brothel in the Bar, Coast District of San Francisco. Emma described a harrowing story of how she and her sister, Anna, had been welcomed by the McKennas, drugged with laudanum-laced food, and sold into a vast human trafficking network. Her letter was filled with specific details about the saloon and the sisters, personal mannerisms, the way Catherine tilted her head when thinking, Margaret's habit of humming while she worked, details that only a victim could have known. Marshal Dugan was hesitant to believe it, as he knew and respected the sisters. He had known Catherine to be a shrewd businesswoman, and Margaret a kind, refined woman who had even sent his wife soup during an illness. Yet Emma's letter couldn't be ignored. A quiet investigation revealed a disturbing pattern. At least 15 young women had vanished after being seen with the McKennas. The final piece of evidence came from a female physician, Dr. Helena Morrison, who had quietly documented Several cases of young women with symptoms, consistent with being drugged, all of whom had recently visited the McKenna Saloon. Justice and disappearance. The investigation became a race against time, as Dugan knew the sisters would disappear if they suspected they were being watched. The breakthrough came when Anna Kowalski, Emma's sister, returned to Leadville. After enduring months of forced prostitution in a San Francisco brothel, she had escaped and made a harrowing journey back, driven by a burning desire for revenge. Anna's testimony provided Marshal Dugan with the inner workings of the trafficking ring. She revealed that the sisters kept meticulous records of their victims in a locked cabinet in Margaret's private room, along with personal belongings taken as trophies. The records documented at least 47 young women who had been trafficked. Driven by a mix of rage and a desire for justice, Anna decided to take matters into her own hands. She confronted the sisters in their saloon, armed with a Derringer pistol and a satchel of evidence. What followed was a chaotic gunfight. Two of the sisters' associates were killed in the initial exchange of gunfire, and Margaret McKenna was shot and killed by a deputy, who mistook her for one of the armed criminals. But in the chaos, Catherine McKenna managed to escape through a rear exit, disappearing into the vast wilderness of the American West. Despite a town-wide search that continued for days, she was never seen again. The aftermath. The raid on the saloon yielded evidence that exceeded even Marshal Dugan's worst expectations. Hidden beneath the floorboards were not only the clothing and personal effects of the trafficked women, but also detailed business records, correspondence with criminal associates, and maps showing transportation routes that connected dozens of communities across multiple states. The documents showed payments to corrupt officials and a criminal network that stretched from Leadville to San Francisco, with profits exceeding $15,000, an enormous sum for the time. They also found a chilling collection of photographs Margaret had taken of their unconscious victims, trophies that served no practical purpose, but revealed a level of psychological cruelty that went beyond simple criminal profit. The case sent shockwaves through the region, forcing communities to confront uncomfortable questions about how easily evil could disguise itself behind a facade of respectability. The investigation revealed that the sisters' criminal network had extended far beyond what anyone had imagined, leading to arrests in Denver, Salt Lake City, and San Francisco that ultimately dismantled much of the trafficking ring. Anna Kowalski, who survived her wounds, became a key advocate for stronger human trafficking laws, testifying before lawmakers and helping other survivors find their voices. Her courage helped expose how criminals exploited people's assumptions and hid heinous crimes. The story of the McKenna sisters proved that sometimes the most horrifying monsters are the ones you trust the most. The story of the McKenna sisters proves how easily evil can hide behind a facade of respectability, and how the most trusted members of a community can sometimes harbor the darkest secrets. What do you think of this story? Do you believe everything was revealed? Or might there still be secrets buried in those Colorado mountains? Leave your comment below. If you enjoyed this tale and want more stories that explore the dark side of history, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share with someone who loves a good mystery. See you in the next video. This story gave you chills. Share this video with a friend who loves dark mysteries. Hit that like button to support our content. And don't forget to subscribe to never miss stories like this.